Hey everybody, this is Avalon from Crafts Direct, and in this video I will be showing you how you can make this canvas bag with a really fun rainbow tassel on it as well. Follow along and I will show you step by step how you can make this canvas bag and rainbow tassel. For the best results, you will first want to wash and dry your canvas bag. And then you are going to take some cardboard and put it inside of the bag. This will help so that the paint doesn't seep through to the other side. It also helps so that you have a flat surface to stencil on. Grab your stencil and center it on the canvas bag. Then you will grab some painter's tape and tape it down to the canvas bag. I took it even a step farther just to help make sure that the stencil really does not move, and I taped the stencil down to the table as well. Grab your black fabric paint and you will put some on a plate, and then grab your paintbrush and start applying to the stencil. Follow the directions on the fabric paint in terms of how long you need to let your paint dry. For this particular paint, it says 24 hours, so set aside your bag to let the paint dry for 24 hours before removing the stencil. Next, we'll be making the tassels for our keychain, and each skein of embroidery thread will be its own tassel. The first thing you will want to do is cut a 6 to 8 inch piece of thread from that particular skein. You will set that aside, but you will use that very soon. And then you will take your skein and fold it in half, and I like to fold it over my finger and to make sure that it is folded evenly. You will then take that piece of thread that you cut off to begin with, and you will tie it around the top of the folded embroidery thread. Take the ends of the string that you just tied in a knot and tuck them into the top of the tassel where you had just wrapped around that thread. Take your scissors and cut all of the loops at the bottom of the tassel, and then we'll wait till the end until we've completed all of our tassels to then trim up all the edges. You will repeat the same steps just using the other skeins of embroidery thread. You will cut off that 6 inch piece of embroidery thread, and then it's important that on 3 of the different colors you cut off a larger piece of string that's closer to about 24 inches. You will need 3 of those larger pieces because this is what we'll use to combine all of the tassels together, and we will thread them with that one giant thread, but we'll need 3 of those. So keep on following those same steps to create your tassels until you have your first 5 tassels completed. You will then begin to trim all of your tassels and do your best to make the tassels even with one another as well. Grab a sewing needle and thread one of those large pieces of embroidery thread through the needle. Tie a few knots at the end of the embroidery thread. You want to make sure that your knot is at least tied 2 to 3 times. You want a little bit of a larger knot so that it catches on the tassels. Grab the tassel that you want to be at the bottom And you will take your needle and thread it through the tassel. You want to make sure that you start with the bottom and the color that you want last. You will then work your way up, threading the needle through each tassel. Once you have finished putting all of your tassels on the thread, you will then adjust the fringe on all of the tassels so that it covers the tassel below it. So you will play around with that until it looks as you would like. We will now make the second set of tassels. So this time you will make 4 tassels, and you will take a large piece of embroidery thread that you already cut, tie a knot at the end, and thread it through the tassels. Take your last long piece of embroidery thread that you cut earlier, and you will thread it through one of the sets of tassels. Take the 3 strings from the 2 sets of tassels, and you will first tie a knot connecting the 2 sets of tassels together and using all 3 strings to make that knot. You will then take the 3 strings and braid them until you get to about 10 inches or so, and you will then tie a knot at the end and cut off any of the remaining string. Once you have allowed the paint to dry for over 24 hours, you will then remove the stencil, and then you can go back with a paintbrush and some paint and make the touch-ups that you need, and then set aside the canvas bag to dry once again. The final step is to take your keychain and you will wrap the braided embroidery thread around the canvas bag a few times before tying a double knot. Thank you so much for watching this video. You can shop all the supplies needed to make this project at craftsdirect.com/projects.